Next up in the workshop, we're going back to the 90s. Sort of. It's Starcraft, the tabletop board game. Welcome back to the workshop where we are continuing to work on the Zeratul miniature from the new Starcraft Tabletop Miniatures Game. So, let's hop right into it and get going. Because, why not? Okay. We are going to worry about the face first off. And what we're going to do is we're just going to kind of work up some of the highlights. And leave as a bunch in the folds to continue to be the shadows. So, I think I said before, I haven't actually had any hands-on dealing with the actual game, but the miniatures all look to be of this quality, then at least the miniatures will look good. And this is where things start getting kind of finicky and fidgety. We also have to think about that, some of this is going to be green, or at least green tinged. So, we can do the purple highlights, but this is going to be painted over in green later on. Which, is not necessarily the worst idea. That way you'll at least have consistency in the purple. Now when we get to the back of some of the back of the miniature, we aren't going to worry about, we're not going to worry so much about it. Needing the green, so we're just going to go in and highlight the purple as we would normally. There. Now, the cape or wings, or however you want to describe them, I mean, they are fabric, so 6 of one, half dozen of another. To remember how the wings go, or how the cape, of course, a little bit, but not much. Okay. This is more so I remember which one's the upside. There we are. Now that I have kind of an idea of which way the uppers and the lowers and stuff like that. So now I'm going to go to a slightly larger brush. And we're going to lay in some more purple, kind of work it up. Which I think is nice, and if it's done right, it'll be nice and smooth. And there we go. And I'll flip it around and we'll do the inside. There we go. That's the first step is basing it and then giving it a wash, and then bringing out the base coat again. And you kind of figure out What's what? You know, and I'm kind of taking thin coats of the regular purple and kind of building it up so it kind of overcomes the darker purple. And, you know, okay. Kind of liking how it's looking. And I'm just going to drop the mini right there because, you know, why not? Now, on the inside, it's going to be a little bit different because we have the green. And we kind of have to work so there's not going to be a whole ton of purple on this side. This is mostly going to be green. Okay. There we go. And we're going to go to our next purple. This one will be a thicker highlight, and this will be right on the folds. see. Yeah, we'll use this one. I'm kind of mixing the two together. Not a whole lot, a little bit. So kind of starting with this one. Kind of. Running along the folds. You know, where the fabric is moving. And we're gonna throw a bit of the highlight Now, a lot of this you probably won't be able to see after the model's put together. Miniature. Same thing, really. They're both plastic. They're both in pieces. You gotta use, you know, a certain kind of glue to put them together. And then paint them. And I mean, technically they are a model kit, but they just happen to be a miniature wargaming person. And we're not going to do much in the way of highlighting. much, and highlighting on the other side because, well, it's going to be a whole load of green. And I haven't quite figured out a few things about it. There we are. We're getting close to moving on to the last stage of the purple. At least on the wings. It'll be good. Okay. Now we move on to the other parts of the mini. Just going to do some stuff on the body here. There's not much, at least on the front, because most of it's going to be green too. But there is some. There we are. And then back to the feast. Then the last color is really just for the points and the sharpest parts of the cloth. So you don't need a lot of it. We'll start here. And yeah, you just kind of want to use it a little sparingly. Like I said, it's really just for the sharpest corners. And maybe some of the highlights. That are in the, tightest of folds. Wondering where I was going next. Keep your paints, try and keep your paints as thin and movable as you can. Try your best to not make it too watery, but you want to thin it down a little bit so it flows nice off the brush. Alright, there we go. Pretty sure we're done with the purple. Or purple, if you prefer a proper pronunciation. Sorry, guys. I like to be silly every now and then. And, you know, that doesn't hurt either. Being silly every now and then. I mean, come on. Have you seen the shirt? World's okayest miniature painter? That's me. I'm the world's okayest miniature painter. You know, not quite average, a little better than average, but not phenomenal. Okay. Kind of stuck for what I should. I know what I should do. I should get the party started. No, I'm kidding. Let's take a peek here. I accidentally knocked him loose off of his peg. So what I'm doing is I took a paper clip and I drilled a hole in one of my extra bases that I did not need. Kind of stuck it through. Well, I mean, I did stick it. Drilled a hole, small hole. Stuck the paper clip through after I cut it into size. So then what I can do is I can take the miniature, I'll just put them off to the side there for a second. Drill a small hole and then stick the paper clip through, super glue the bottom of the paper clip onto the, let's see, so I drilled a hole right in there. On the underside I just kind of made an L shape, poked it through, and then super glued the bottom so that it wouldn't move. And then I just take a pin vise with a drill bit that's roughly the same size, and I make a small hole in part of the miniature that won't be seen, and then put some super glue on it, on the post, and put that on there. And so that you can get into all the little nooks and crannies and little finagly bits that you might not be able to get to otherwise. So when I put my miniatures together, and I should probably do a show on prepping miniatures, that might be an idea. But anyway, I like to do miniatures in sub-assemblies, as you've seen. So, I mean, I have the base here that's separate from the miniature. And then, of course, I have the head, the body, and the wings, which are not ready to be put on the miniature because the miniature itself isn't isn't ready either, but I want them up there for now. So how do I want to do this? Sorry, just kind of looking at the picture of the fella and trying to get an idea of how I want to proceed with the lighting. So probably I'm going to go to my green happy place. And we're going to go with my Caladan green. You know what? I might have to wait on my greens. Because I'm not sure if I have anything that's viable. That's alright. Because we got other things that we can do. We are going to work on Zeratul's skin. And again, we're going to take the nice small brush. It's not the smallest that there is, but it certainly is small. The smallest I've seen is called the Psycho from Army Painter, and that is one tiny, tiny, tiny brush. All right. Not sure if you can see. Oops. Yeah, right there. And that is called the Psycho from Army Painter. And that is one tiny brush. That's a good one for, you know, eyeballs or tattoos, or, well, the tattoos you could probably get away with a slightly bigger. Now, basically what I'm doing is I'm restoring the gray, the bluish gray color called the fang. Now I'm kind of keeping the shades in the recesses. Now, the main body's not quite ready to come into play yet, and that's okay, because we're going to just stick with the head for the moment, and we will get it figured out. Then I'm going to go to the highlight color, boom boom, and that one is called Rust Gray. And for that, I'm actually going to pull out a thing called Insane Detail. It's only slightly bigger than the Psycho. And that's because I want the control Yeah, I like how that's coming out. There we go. So you can kind of see how the highlights are coming. Now we can go one more up if we choose to, but you don't have to. You can stay right where we are. There we are. But that does show you some of the different brushes that I use. Of course, you've seen that through the different shows that I have done, and that's great. But next time that we're on, or he might be stuck on there, and it might be yeah. So as I was saying, with making a spike, kind of pick how much you want out. And hopefully you have little pliers, or possibly even snips that you can use. And you can bend over the wire. It's kind of into place. And we're going to need to get the crazy glue back out. Kind of. Then you just kind of pile on the glue and cover the part that sticks out. Alright, just kind of goop it on. And if you happen to have it, use some accelerant. And that will basically instantly cure your super glue. And he's almost back in business. We can almost paint him now, but we'll leave that for another day. Okay, so as always, stay safe, be safe, most of all, paint safe, and we'll see you next time in the workshop.